Forgot to unmute myself for a second. All that you missed was I said, yo, what is up, everybody? I am just starting, well, not technically, I guess tomorrow afternoon I'll be starting my Thanksgiving break, which is pretty awesome. I'll be off work from Wednesday afternoon starting until next Monday, so I am pretty pumped. Hey, what's up, Cap Blue? So tomorrow though, when I get off work, so I'll be off work at noon tomorrow. Normally I don't even go until 2 p.m., but they're doing like a half day thing, so we have to go in earlier to get our half day in or something like that. But anyways, so after I get off tomorrow, I'm gonna be attempting to cook stuff for Thanksgiving. Hopefully I don't kill anybody on Thanksgiving on accident, but luckily it's just basic stuff like hash brown casserole, green bean casserole, some dinner rolls. I did a test run of the dinner rolls. They came out okay. I did something wrong. They were a little bit too, they weren't as soft as I wanted them to be, but I made this this butter. It's a copycat, the Texas Roadhouse butter. Now that came out really good. So if when I make the dinner rolls tomorrow, I think I didn't let them rise long enough, let the dough rise long enough, so I think it was a little bit too dense. So I'm gonna let them set for an extra long time this time. It was also a cold day at the time, so I think that might have affected it. But anyways, so I'm gonna be at that tomorrow. Dorothy had said earlier, I love how they're advertising 8K now and you can't even see 8K. Are they doing, I'm guessing you got like a Black Friday ad for maybe an 8K television or something like that. I haven't even demoed any of the 8K TV stuff yet. I know that's the next thing that they're pushing. It's really weird, you know how they'll, an 8K QLED TV, yeah. I know with, so they have like the viewing ranges where they'll say if you're gonna buy a 4K monitor, you should only consider it if you're gonna be on average like X amount of feet away from your monitor, and the monitor to be this size to get like to get the most out of it. One thing I have noticed is even on when you're not in like the best viewing range of something, so if you did end up buying, because we at work went overkill on some of our monitors, and they're like 4K monitors, and they're I can't remember the size. I want to say they're like 60-inch, but they might even be bigger than that. Sorry, I dropped a piece of my headphones playing around with it, fiddling it. But yeah, they're like 4K, 60-inch, and the way that we have it all spaced out, they can't be that far. They're like probably 6 feet away, 7 feet. I don't know. It's too close. But with the 4K resolution and stuff, you're still seeing like the texture difference and stuff like that. But I think with the 4K, you need to be 7 feet away. Yeah, I remember I was trying to get that, and I think the most I could do was like 6 or whatever. But yeah, I'd like to see what an 8K would look like. I'm guessing it's just going to be... Well, I remember looking at the QLEDs for the 4Ks, which we do have a 4K in our living room. Not a QLED though. I know the QLEDs and the OLEDs, those colors really do pop. I'm a big fan of the QLEDs. That's what we got at work. The OLEDs do, I think, have a little bit better color and things like that. But with QLED, it's minor difference, but you don't have to worry about the burn-in. And I can attest to that because we've had these QLEDs at work for a while, and I specifically got them because I was worried about burn-in, because we have those TVs running all the time. And you know, that's what they advertise, is you don't have to worry about the burn-in. The way that, I don't know, the tech that they use, some sort of refresh that's behind it, and these micro LEDs or whatever. I think ours is like a micro QLED, something like that. But no burn-in so far, and they've been running for a long time now. But you have a 4K 27-inch gaming monitor, it looks so good, probably is overkill. I'm a fan of it. Like I said, even if it's on a 27-inch monitor, with the 4K, I played not even a graphically intensive game. The first thing I tested out whenever we got, wasn't those monitors, but it was a 4K, this was really overkill, We'd had a grant money, and so we were like, let's buy some high-end stuff. It was this is at work, curved monitor, 4K, and I put World of Warcraft on it, and gotta say that's the best World of Warcraft I've ever seen. Yo, what's up, Asterix? I like the X at the end. Asterisk X. That reminds me, way back in the day, not to sound super old or anything, but when we were running marathons early on, there's got to be still a huge Kingdom Heart fandom, but I feel like Kingdom Hearts was really peak around the 2008, 9, and 10. It's still really popular, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of people that were in the chat that had like something X. So I don't know if your name is maybe like a nod to Kingdom Hearts as well, but they'd be like Bob X or JX or Jerry X, and I'd be like, I didn't know what it meant, and then I would ask people like, what does your username mean? They're like, oh, it's my Kingdom Hearts name. I was like, oh, okay. You wish you could get rid of it? What? I think it's cool. I like asterisks. My usernames back when I first got on the internet, like for Phantasy Star Online, Britsks, other games, they were some derivative of like X Legolas X, something like that. And I had those for a long time. What's made me sad is I went to look at my old characters, me and my brother's old characters on the GameCube, on their memory card, and I think during one of our marathons or events, must have accidentally got deleted. Chase had a mech in Phantasy Star Online on the GameCube, episodes 1 and 2. A mech, I forgot what class he was. It was one of the shooter. I forgot what they're called in Phantasy Star Online. I don't think it's Ranger. But anyways, he had one, and it was called Dunker Slam. Chase has had that username forever, so that was back in... We were playing Phantasy Star Online back in 2001 or 2002, somewhere around there. So 22 years ago, Chase's alias was still Dunker Slam. His MMO, the first MMO that we played, Nexus, back in like 99 or 98, was also Dunker Slam. XX Brit XX. Now, that's more my speed, asterisks. Let's see, yeah. Maybe one of these days I'll revive it. I think I could, that'll be my new streamer name, X Legolas X. It's because I just got introduced to Lord of the Rings around that time. When did the original Lord of the Rings, not the books obviously, the movies. That was my first. I wasn't aware of the books or anything. I just saw the movie, and that kind of like, I think, outside of like video games, that was like my first introduction to like, what would you call it, like high fantasy or whatever. And the reason why I liked it so much is because it reminded me of Zelda, and I'm sure Zelda got like inspiration from like some of Tolkien stuff. But let's see, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, 2001. Oh, that lines up because that's whenever I think I played Phantasy Star Online, so that's why my character. I watched that movie, and from then on out, X Legolas X, baby. Let's see. You can't really tell they're curved if you only have two next to each other, and if you have a black background, the curve causes the colors to look slightly off. Yeah, it's cool. It kind of causes a nice kind of like double monitor effect, but it's more not closing you in, but surrounding you in a way. You just watched The Two Towers on Sunday. It's such a good movie. Yeah, Lauren and we'll go over her grandparents usually. We haven't done it in a bit, but we used to go each year, and we would watch the extended cuts of the movies. We wouldn't do all three one night, but we'd break them up over 3 different weekends and go through them. They are still really good, and they held up really well. You know, there was a Game Boy Advance game that one of my friends Mick had that was like it was a Lord of the Rings game, but it kind of played like Diablo, and it was super freaking cool. I can't remember the name of it. It was a Lord of the Rings ARPG, and you could play as like Gimli. They were like the, you know, like the main cast of like Lord of the Rings, but they were like the different classes or whatever. It was a lot of fun. I think it was multiplayer too. Like you could hook up the Game Boy Advance link cables and stuff like that. There were so many freaking Lord of the Ring video games. A lot of them, there were some pretty good ones too. They had an RTS. Most of them though were just more of the, I don't want to say cash grabby, but just the like hack and slash. They weren't like super creative with it. But then I think there was like a turn-based RPG Lord of the Rings that I just learned of the other day. I can't remember what it was called. And it was also on the GameCube. I never got to play that one. That'd probably be more my speed. So for today, I'm going to start off with the Noita daily run. Like I said last time, it's to knock the rust off because I haven't been playing much at all. And I eventually want to go over to Chase's again and do the Noita University stuff that stream we did a while ago. But I can't go in being worse than I was before. So we'll start off with Noita daily run, and then after that we'll go back to Isaac. I don't think I've seen a Lord of the Rings game. There's a decent amount of them. They've stopped. Well, I say they stopped, but I think we just recently got a. Oh man, it was supposed to be one of the worst games of all time. A Golem game where you play as Gollum, and I don't really know much more than that. It just not look very good. But there was a Lord of the Rings MMO that's free to play, and I think it's on Steam now. I played that for a bit. Like I said, think of a genre, there's probably a Lord of the Rings game for it. There's an RTS that was pretty good. It was actually on console. I think it was on the Xbox 360. But let's see. Let me check, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, something else. So, I consider myself kind of a tech person, but not. I'm a tech person in the, you know, amongst normies, but, you know, amongst actual tech people, I'm not that technically savvy. What I mean by that is, I want to get a new PC, because the PC that I have is actually, it's getting up there. So, I bought this from Caden, I want to say, in like 2016, somewhere around there. So it's like 8 years old. And, you know, still works fine and everything, but I wanna be a bit on the higher end. And I've been noticing a lot of Black Friday sales and stuff. I'm too lazy, I think, to build one. But I've heard that buying pre-built isn't as bad nowadays as it was maybe like 10 years ago. So if y'all have any recommendations, definitely shoot me some ideas. Let's see, every time I stop by, I love the idea that you literally have a bar counter for serving milk out of your office. I used to, when I first had done this little layout or whatever, it was like a couple of years ago, I used to, at the start of the streams, maybe I'll do this again, I would have like milk under like my table, and when people would sub and stuff, we would pour out some milk and everything and do that. It is eggnog season, and I love eggnog. I should get some eggnog and do it that way. Pre-builds are great. I scrapped building mine for a pre-build because it was just the same price, if not cheaper. Oh, that's really good to hear. Oh yeah, Asterix said the same thing. Pre-builds are pretty fine if you know what to look at. Yeah, that's where. So I'll know, you know, like the graphic cards. Like, oh, I should look for this, and I know the general price range. It's more of like RAM and RAM speeds and their price compares, like what I should be looking for there, and Like my friend just informed me the other day, like, oh, there's these certain intels, they're like no good. They supposedly will self-destruct or kill themselves over a certain amount of time, so you can't buy these certain intels. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff that I'm just like not super aware of. So I'm looking on Amazon. I'm still looking at Newegg. I know Newegg is not as big as it used to be, but I see they've got some sales going on. So I think I'm gonna pick myself up a new PC. I think it's the 13th, 14th gen that malfunctioned. Okay. Well, if I'll make sure to, whenever I'm looking at these, that I don't accidentally buy one of those. Or do they still even sell them? Or are they one of those things where they're just like pulled them off market? "13th gen, I have one." Oh dang. Is it like a guarantee that it's gonna malfunction, or is it just one of those that it's more likely? Not that I'll take the chance to buy one, I was just curious. But yeah, I'm not looking for anything that's like it degrades over time. Okay. I'm not looking for something that's like at the highest end. I've already got like, you know, monitors, keyboards, mouse, things like that. I'm trying to stay between like 1800, the high end. I'd like to be between like 1500 and 1800, and it doesn't have to be like the most high-end PC. Obviously, if I'm only paying between 15 and 1800, just want like a solid graphics card, you know, decent RAM. I don't even know how to talk. Decent processor. I think you know what I'm saying. I just want to run Skyrim Special Edition with mods and it doesn't lag. Is that too much to ask? Dude, it's so cool that there's older games like Skyrim that are still getting the crazy support. The problem I have with modding in general. No, mods in general are good, but this is the problem I personally run into. So it was like 5 years ago. Probably wasn't even that long ago. I was looking at Fallout New Vegas mods, and it completely changed the way that the game looked. It looked incredible. Like ultra 4K retexture mod with special lighting and ray tracing and all this stuff. Well, I guess it was 5 years ago. Probably wasn't all that. But anyways, it was just like a retexture pack. And I was watching like videos on it, and it looked like, you know, if Fallout were done on modern hardware. And then I follow like the mod list to like a T, and then it just doesn't, it never works. Like, like I'll see people streaming with these crazy mods, and I'm like, I'm gonna do that. And then I go to mod it. I spend like 5 hours getting everything ready, and I never am able to like tweak it or get it to work in a way. So I usually will stick to like the baby mods, you know, like little quality of life stuff. If I even do that, usually I'll play my games pretty vanilla. But yeah. All right. I think we can keep the convo going, but I'm gonna get Noita started. Noita. One of these days, I will understand modding better and how you're supposed to like prioritize certain mods and stuff like that, and get to do my like dream Skyrim build, because I do love Skyrim. I play that all the time. I remember when it came out in 2011. It was actually right after I got married. I got married November 5th, 2011, and 6 days later Skyrim came out. And I remember just, that was the first, I'd played a little bit of Oblivion, and for whatever reason it hadn't clicked. Maybe I might have played a little bit of Morrowind. I went back to both of those games after Skyrim and ended up loving them, but Skyrim is like what got me into the, did I say Elden Ring? I meant to say Elder Scrolls stuff. And man, I know for a lot of people, Skyrim, because it takes out some of the role-playing elements, they don't like it, but they did a really good job of like kind of making it probably more accessible to people that aren't into those like deep RPG series. or RPG elements. But that being said, going back to Morrowind or playing that afterwards, I was like, man, I wish it did have some of the more hardcore elements that Morrowind have. I hope they find like a happy medium in the next Elder Scrolls game. But Skyrim's it's still a beautiful game. Like, you go and play it now, and even without mods and stuff like that, I mean, obviously it's aged, but I don't know, there's something about the combination of like the music and like the skybox you're walking through, and it's at night and you see like a dragonfly overhead. Even though the graphics aren't the best, it's still like